In this video, we'll look at 4 legendary CIA officers and their most memorable missions. We'll also discuss the impact of their actions and what we can learn from them. As always, check the description below for a full timeline. If you're new here, welcome to my channel, where we learn how to be better spies through spy history. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm glad you keep coming back. Let's get into it. Our first legend is Virginia Hall. She was born in 1906 and joined the Federal Bureau of Prisons in 1933. But her career really started when she joined the newly formed Office of Strategic Services during World War II. She served in the Aleutian Islands during the Japanese attack on the island of A2, later becoming the chief of the F Section in Algiers. The F Section was the forerunner to the CIA's Directorate of Operations and was responsible for covert actions in North Africa and Southern Europe. She was involved in operations such as supporting the French resistance against the Germans in southern France. In 1944, she became the chief of the newly created Jedburgh B teams, which were teams of special agents that went behind enemy lines to assist resistance groups in liberated areas. By the end of the war, she had helped to liberate more than 2,000 coined prisoner of wars and airmen and assisted in the liberation of thousands more. She is credited with killing over 400 Nazis and wounding many more. Virginia Hall is particularly interesting because she was not your typical CIA officer. She was a woman who smoked like a chimney, drank copious amounts of whiskey, used profanity liberally, wore men's clothing while in the field, and did not shy away from violence. In fact, she was known for her quick temper and for carrying a gun even when it was not necessary. She also had a deep knowledge of languages and cultures, which allowed her to blend in easily and gain the trust of locals. Her bravery and daring were legendary, and she was known for taking great risks. For example, she once escaped from a German prison camp by bribing a guard with a bottle of whiskey and then hiding in a staff car. She was also instrumental in planning and executing Operation Torch, the Allied invasion of Western North Africa. Despite her many accomplishments, Hall was often overlooked and underappreciated by her superiors, who were mostly men. After the war, she returned to the United States and became a professor of international relations at a university. She died in 1982 at the age of 75. The next legend is Tony Mendez. He was a CIA officer who specialized in extraction operations, getting people out of dangerous situations. His most famous mission was the rescue of 6 Americans from Tehran, Iran in 1980. This mission became known as Argo and was later made into a movie starring Ben Affleck. Mendez's plan involved creating a fake movie production called Argo to cover up the extraction operation. Mendez and his team posed as Canadians and entered Iran using Canadian passports. They rescued the 6 Americans and returned them safely to the United States. Mendez received the CIA's highest honor for his bravery and skill. He continued to work in the agency until retiring in 1990. Mendez passed away in January of 2019. This mission has several lessons for us. First, it shows the importance of planning. Mendez and his team spent months planning every detail of the operation. They created a fake movie production, recruited actors, and even made a fake trailer for the movie. This level of detail made the operation as realistic as possible, and it paid off. Second, it shows the importance of teamwork. Mendez worked closely with the other CIA officers and agents involved in the operation. They all had to be on the same page in order for the mission to be successful. Third, it shows the importance of being flexible. Plans can and do go wrong. Mendez had to be willing to change his plans on the fly in order to adapt to the situation. For example, he had to make several trips into Iran before he was able to get the 6 Americans out. Fourth, it shows the importance of staying calm under pressure. Mendez and his team were in constant danger. They were in a country that hated Americans, and they were carrying out a very risky operation. But they stayed calm and they executed their plan flawlessly. Fifth, it shows the importance of having a good cover story. Mendez and his team created a fake movie production to cover up their extraction operation. This was a brilliant move that helped them to avoid detection. In fact, the Iranians never figured out what they were doing. So our third legend is Jesus Angleton. He was a CIA officer who specialized in counterintelligence, which is the art of gathering intelligence on foreign spies and then taking steps to stop them. He was known for his paranoia and his willingness to believe that everyone around him was a Soviet spy. This made him very unpopular with some of his colleagues, but it also made him very effective at his job. In 1961, he uncovered a major Soviet spy ring inside the U.S. State Department and the National Security Agency. The ring was led by a man named Rhino Hayhanen, who had been feeding the Soviet secrets for years. Angleton and his team spent months tracking down and arresting the spies. This was a major blow to the Soviets, and it is considered one of the greatest counterintelligence successes in American history. After this success, Angleton became even more convinced that there were spies everywhere. He began to suspect that even his closest friends and allies were working for the Soviets. He became increasingly isolated and paranoid, and he eventually lost his job at the CIA, despite his controversial personality. Angleton is considered to be a hero by many people. He was a man who dedicated his life to protecting America from the Soviets. He was willing to risk everything to keep America safe, and he ultimately paid the ultimate price for his bravery. Angleton passed away in 1967 at the age of 53. Our fourth legend is Aldrich Ames. He was a CIA officer who spied for the Soviets and later the Russians. Ames was born in 1946 and joined the CIA in 1966. He worked in the agency's Directorate of Operations, which is responsible for carrying out covert missions. Ames was involved in some of the CIA's most important operations during the Cold War, such as the overthrow of a government in 1973 and the rescue of an American journalist from prison in 1985. However, in 1993, Ames was arrested and charged with spying for the Soviets and then the Russians. It was revealed that he had been selling secrets to the enemy for years. He was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Ames's betrayal was a major blow to the CIA. He had access to some of the agency's most sensitive secrets, and he shared them with the enemy. This put lives at risk and damaged America's national security. Despite his betrayal, Ames is still considered to be a legend at the CIA. He was a highly skilled officer who did a lot of good for the agency. He also showed incredible bravery in the face of danger. In fact, he was awarded the CIA's highest honor for his service. This just goes to show that even the best of us can make mistakes. Ames is a reminder that no one is perfect and that we should always strive to do our best. In the end, it was his arrogance that brought him down. He thought he was smarter than everyone else and that he could get away with anything. But in the end, he was caught and he was now rotting in prison. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and leave me a comment. Check out the description for links to other great resources. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.